Welcome to our channel, Divya English Academy, and this is our live discussion. One of our adult learners is here. Chira can do one thing when I'm speaking at the moment, you can keep your microphone off. That will be better because then unnecessary voice coming from your side will not be distracting us. Once again, hi viewers, welcome to our channel, Divya English Academy, one of our adult learners joining live session. And in this live session we are just going to have discussions. I'm going to be getting feedback from Chirag. How did he learn, what did he learn, what are the topics has he learned, the confidence he got in speaking English, talking about all those things. This is going to be one kind of a live proof for you how learning language is taking place in the Divya English Academy, how our adult learners and kids are getting confident in speaking English within a short period of time so that you get motivated. The purpose of having this live stream at this moment is all about to motivate and encourage our subscribers, viewers. From I see now the signal is being shown here less. Now it's coming because at the same time I'm checking this live stream also whether this is working properly or not in my YouTube and Facebook. The Facebook, it is showing that I need to get, yeah, three people are there watching also. We don't know who you are, but if you are watching, so it's good to watch this and then see how the Chirag is going to be responding you, and then what kind of discussions we are going to have here. Be benefited by watching this live session. So all right, so first of all, Chirag, you may tell me that our course name is English for International Communication. There are so many courses these days: spoken English, American English, this English, that English. So, what you mean why when we say English for International Communication? Why did we design, or why did we give this name, and then why have we decided to give the name something like that? Or what does it mean when we talk about English for international communication? What is this course all about, and how different this course is from spoken English and any other English courses?
International communication is very important to nowadays because if we are going to abroad to study, then it means we need to speak in English, then we should know about the English. So English for international communication is very important. And this course it is not only the spoken course, it is also a writing course, understanding course, listening course. It includes all the topic of English for international communication.
Okay, so now, dear learners, when we talk about English for international communication, Chirag, you has to make sure that you off your microphone. So when we talk, because some noise make unnecessary distract. So, dear learners, now when we talk about English for international communication, we need to always understand that English is international language. So, when we talk about English for international, your language is Indian English, your language is Punjabi English, your English seems to be Tamil English. So, and then after learning English, if people keep on appointing me that they have difficulty to understand my language, so that means internationally people are finding me to understand my language, so there is no much purpose of learning that kind of English. So English for international communication is concerned about pronunciation, sentence structures, how to construct the sentences, and some phrases, the way of speaking. Like we keep on talking about restroom, understanding the meaning of restroom. Here you are, here we go. How are you going to get there? We are not getting something. Okay, how do you find movie? We are not finding and searching the movie. What we are really talking about, trying to get all those things. So these all things will be completed when we talk about English for international communication. That's the one thing. And then second thing is that it will follow the structure, grammar, vocabulary, the range of vocabulary, sentences in the standard manner, so that we won't have any difficulty to be understanding and at the same time speaking to be person from anywhere around the world. That's why the course name is called English for International Communication, though it consists spoken English, grammar, conversation, listening, reading, writing, speaking, practice, storytelling, discussions, all all the activities are the part of this language. But it can't be said that this is the spoken English only. No, it has the varieties of topics and various topics, including all those topics. Finally, this becomes one kind of a course known as English for International Communication. Now, Chirag may tell me, what are the four things to remember before we begin learning English? Many people want to learn English, but they don't know what are the things that they should keep in their mind. We can start learning English without knowing 4 points, four things also. But what will be our loss if we learn or if we start learning English without getting aware of four things to remember: determination, time, resources, hard work, and all? If we don't know all these things, is our learning going to be last or long? Is that going to become effective for us? So make sure that you deal that also in your conversation. Speak on now. Four things to remember. Go on.
Four things to remember before you begin English. Number one is determination. Number two is resources. Number three is hard work. And number four is time. And let's start with determination. Determination. If you have a strong determination, a passion, resolution, and a willpower to learn English, then you can easily learn English. If you have a strong zeal and passion and desire to learning about anything, not only English but any language and any work, you need to have a strong
Just
determination.
a minute. Yeah, Jagdish, very good evening. आपकी जानकारी के लिए, चिराग हमारे ऑफलाइन लर्नर हैं, ऑफलाइन स्टूडेंट हैं। 1 मंथ कंप्लीट हो चुका है, 1.5 मंथ, 2 मंथ्स कंप्लीट हो चुका है। तो उनका फीडबैक देखिए, कैसे फीडबैक दे रहे हैं, रिस्पॉन्स दे रहे हैं। आप यूट्यूब चैनल में काफ़ी एक्टिव है और हमारे जो है प्रोमिनेंट सब्सक्राइबर्स है, अभी भी लाइव जुड़ रहे हैं, हम देख रहे हैं अभी भी जुड़े हैं लाइव। सो सुनिए जरा रिस्पॉन्स ऑफ ऑफलाइन लर्नर्स, अडल्ट लर्नर्स, and keep on watching our live stream in the YouTube channel. Yeah, go on, Chirag.
Yes, sir. If you have a strong determination, a resolution, passion, desire to learning any language and do any work, then you can easily learn the language. Because if you need to feel a strong zeal and urgency to learn the English, if you have a strong determination, then you can easily learn English. Firstly, when you begin any new to do new thing, then firstly you need to have a strong determination, a desire by yourself to learn this language. So make sure that firstly you need to have a strong desire, willpower, a passion to do this work. Then you can easily speak and write English very easily. And number two is resources. An English learner is an army without weapons. So make sure you have a good resources, a good grammar book, good grammar books. Then you can easily learn English within few days. If you don't have strong good resources, then it means you waste your time, money, and it waste your time, money. So resources plays very important role. Then you can easily learn English if you have a good resources. Number four is hard work. Hard work is the key to success. The harder you work, then easily you can achieve the success. Hard work is the very important to hard work. Hard work is very important to the key to success. if you work hard, then you can easily achieve the success. So do not fear about to work hard. Just keep on working hard and uh, keep on work hard and do your best. So one day you can easily speak English for this time. English is a long process. Learning English is a long process. It takes some time. So don't be discouraged and fear if you are not able to learn English in a few days, because it is not our first language. It is our second language. Then it takes some time. We need to learn about vocabulary, sentence pattern, how the pronunciation, and it takes some time. And if you practice, work hard, and if you have a good resources or determination, you or a resolution passion you have, then you can easily learn English within a month.
Absolutely, very good. So, Chirag, I'm just you finished 1 and 2 months here in the English Speaking Academy, offline classes, joining classes, 1 hour, 1.5 an hour, and then the confidence you have speaking in English language, it's a tremendous. And though you come from the government schools, not from the English medium schools, so this is one kind of a great motivation for people, those who are studying in government schools. They also can think that yes, definitely they also can learn English. Chirag studied in the government schools from his childhood, and then now did the English speaking course, and still it's going on in the English speaking academy offline class. The confident of speaking language within 2 months, but then the second month was not regular classes due to heavy rain here. So yes, I appreciate you. And so these four things are very important when we talk about learning English language. There are four things to remember before you begin learning English language. And why are they very important? Number one is called determination. सबसे पहले अपने आप को सुनिश्चित करना है, ठान लेना है कि ये काम हमें करना ही है, और इस काम को करने के लिए हमें काफ़ी we have desire also to do this work, and we are passionate about this thing. At anyhow we want to do it, we are crazy for it. So once we have that kind of desire in our heart, so easily we can achieve the goal. Why? Because that determination will help us. It will give us one kind of a great motivation to do any work, because already we are prepared in our heart to do any work what we are planning to be doing. So that's very important. And then second thing is that having good resources, that I always keep on reminding. A lot of people are wasting their time and money because of not finding the good resource person for learning language. So my suggestion is that if you want to learn language, make sure that you find good resources and use good resources. Finding good resources and using also good resources. Using good resources means making sure that you use good grammar books, and you watch some good YouTube channels, and then you read some good books which has some high vocabularies, the grammar topics and everything is okay. So using good resources, anything it can be, watching BBC, CNN, any new channels, and then YouTube channels. Resources also we have to use which are in a good manner. And the same time, if you find a good resource means like a trainer, coach, a partner, friends who speaks better English than you, so he can be a one kind of good resource for you, the resource person to be having conversation. When you make mistake, there is a someone who can correct you. This is the benefit of having a resource person. I mean to say that sometimes what happens, we are speaking English, in our mind we are thinking that we spoke about past, but in reality in English we are not speaking about past at all. Like earlier I don't use that, but I supposed to be saying earlier I did not use that, but in my mind I'm thinking that I spoke did not. In the reality I'm speaking do not. The common mistakes. Another mistake is yesterday I'm in market. I have to say that I was in market. In my mind I thought I was in my market, but in speaking I'm saying I'm in market. So these are the some common errors if it is not corrected. The possibility of getting correction is all about having interaction with people, those who speak better language than us. Is always, there is one saying also, like if you join a company where five people are very intelligent, so you are going to be the sixth person, because any a company that will influence you according to that way for going further. So for learning language also, finding a good resource, and that becomes one kind of a company for you, and then that influences you a lot, and then shorter period of time you also become the person like them what you were seeking for. Now third thing is called of resources, doing hard work. Another thing that we have been facing as a teachers, that many people want to learn language, they do have zeal, are passionate also, but when it comes in working hard, so people these days find very difficulty, very rare they get interest working hard. Working hard means gaining the vocabulary, acquiring the knowledge. Gaining the vocabulary means first of all making sure that learning a lot of vocabularies which are very common, which are very useful, and which we use in our daily basis. Those kind of English words we need to learn from any fields, whatever it may be. So but people don't want to learn that, so due to that there is a lot of distraction, and then they can't improve. They only improve the few in like introduction, maybe few topics, confident in speaking and all. So making sure that we do have the zeal for learning vocabulary, working hard in the pronunciation, grammar, listening, writing, speaking, discussions, storytelling, whatever activities it may be, whether listening, and also we make sure that we keep on working hard in the process of learning English language. And then finally it talks about the time. Learning is a process, it takes time, it doesn't happen instantly. आज ज्वाइन किया कल सीख जाएंगे, नो, इट इज़ अ प्रोसेस. May not be today, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow, this week, next week. But one thing we need to remember, that learning is process. It takes time. But if we are not able to learn language within short period of time, so we should not give up, and we should not get discouraged also by thinking that maybe not today, tomorrow, definitely, maybe not this week, next week. For example, we have a cell phone, new cell phone. So do you think that in one day we learn all the functions how to use cell phone? No, we keep on learning some new functions as we use. As long we keep on using the cell phone, then we find some new features, some new setting there. Slowly after a few months, after some years, we become very habitual of using that phone. We know all the settings, advanced level also. So same with the language also. In one day, in whole one night, we don't know all the settings. So for learning language also it takes a little time. Okay, next is Chirag. What are the four skills to develop English language? Go on.
Four skills to develop English language. Number one, listening. Number two, speaking. Number three, reading. Number four, writing.
Yeah, Satish, good morning. Keep on watching and supporting here. We do appreciate you. Let us listen the feedback from our adult learners, Chirag, and he's going to be responding you four things. English में चार skills जो develop करनी है, what are they and how important are they? So let us listen from Chirag. Chirag, you may go on now.
So, number one, listening. Listening is the first stage of learning language. If you listen any good person who speak very good English, then you can catch their words, their sentence pattern, how they make sentence, how they their pronunciation, how they pronounce the word very clearly. And learning, listening is a very good good skill to develop our language. Whenever you can listen the news channels, any English use videos, then you can catch the words, the sentence pattern in your mind, and you are habitual to say the word. So listening is very important. It is the first stage of learning language. So if we listen carefully, then 50 to 60% English we can we can learn by listening. So listening is very important skill in the to develop English language. And number two is speaking. What can happen? Most people can listen, they can write, they can write, read, but when it comes to speak, most people neglect this skill because they're not habitual to speak their language. They feel shy, they fear about to speaking language. They thought they have many mistakes. They do many mistakes while speaking language, but it doesn't matter. Many people who do mistake while speaking language. It doesn't matter if you do any petty mistake while speaking language. We are learners. We need to speak more language more and more and keep trying to speaking. So speaking is very important language, and we if we do keep practicing daily to speaking to someone, to your coach and to yourself, then you get a flow confident and you can easily speak the language. And number 4 is reading. Reading is also very important skill. If you read any article, any English book very carefully, then you find that how the sentence make, how the sentence pattern, and the words which you find difficult, then you can write your copy and find their meaning in English dictionary. So reading helps you a lot uh, to learning English language. And number fourth is the writing. Writing is also very important skill of English language. Whatever you listen, whatever you watch, whatever you read, you try to make sure to write them on the copy, because if you don't able to write it, it is not good for you. Because if you become a master of the English, you need to work on all four skills: listening, writing, speaking, and reading. So writing is also very important. Suppose if you want to write any letter, any message to someone, then you should aware and know about the words, why the how we our sentence make, what word is a fact for this situation. So this kind of confidence we need to by writing. So these four skills
Absolutely.
are very important.
Absolutely do appreciate you. And as Chirag said, there are four skills now. Skills, So any skill if we have in our life, that's very important, but we need to keep on developing also. There are four skills to develop English language. What are the four skills? Number one is called listening. What do you mean by listening? Listen English. First of all, we need to listen. Why? Because a child before he goes to school, he speaks language. So it proves that language is learned by listening. The first stage of learning language means listen. Whether you understand, you don't understand, it has nothing to do with that. Just we have to listen. After listening, we need to try to speak it out. Listening means listening words. Maybe I speak you stigmatized, bribe, capsicum, circumstances. Now the words sympathy, some of the words I'm speaking. So you can use these words in your speaking just by listening from me. You may not know their spelling, you may not know their pronunciation, you may sometimes find the difficulty to read them, but you are still using those words in your speaking. How did it happen? Just by listening. So listening is the first stage and one of the effective ways of learning language. Listen carefully, listen from people, and then try to listen words and tenses. And then by listening, we can develop a lot, because languages are learned by listening. The first stage of learning language is only that. The evidence for this is we speak our mother tongue. Do we study? Do we read the mother tongue grammar in our childhood? No, we speak it out, and that's why that is called mother tongue. The question can be, how do we learn mother tongue? We learn mother tongue just by listening. So after that is called speaking. Very important. After listening, we need to keep on speaking. Second step, speaking. Whatever we have listened, whatever we have heard, try to speak few of the words in our speech, in our communication, in our talk to someone. Later on it can become our habit. But the problem is that speaking is the most neglected skill. People neglect speaking. Reasons: feeling shy, having hesitation, fear of making mistake, what people will think if I speak in English. No, no, no. after knowing everything also in English language, and then finally they prefer to only be speaking in their own language. No, if we have to practice, for practice we have to open our mouth and we have to speak, because in future if we need to be talking to people from around the world internationally, so this is a language, we have to use it for the communication. There is nothing to be feeling shy and getting hesitation, because when we speak our mother tongue, why don't we have hesitation, why don't we feel shy? So this is also the language, speaking in it also. And the languages are made for communication, always we need to remember, whether it is English, Hindi, Punjabi, Urdu, Telugu, whatever language it might be. So languages are made for communication. We communicate, human being, they communicate with one another. Why? Languages. So English is known as an international language. That's why people love to be speaking it. People, they want to learn, they spend their money and the time also to be learning this language instead of learning a lot of other languages. People always prefer to learn one language so that they can communicate in this language. And for speaking, we have to open our mouth and do the practice. For practice, we need some structures and then some codes, some activities, and then speaking sentences, practice of speaking something in English, maybe storytelling, maybe reading, anything it can be. Next step is reading. When we read, we learn a lot of words. Reading also helps us because we learn a lot of words and sentence patterns and all by reading. Reading can also be improved. And then finally is writing. Once become a good writer, we are the master in that language. And then the final stage is called thinking. Once we think in any language, so that language becomes our own language. So finally, if we are able to think in English, so English becomes our own language. Now the question is, how can we think in English? This Chirag, I have a question for you. How can we think in English in order to become fluent in English language? So as we know that thinking in English is very important. Once we think in English, so English can become our own language. We may not have any difficulty at all to be speaking and understanding English language. So what does it mean thinking in English, and how it can happen? How can we begin?
So first, to thinking English, we need some words and which come in our mind. Firstly, we make the situation our mind, and some we need some word, and then we make a sentence, and then we say in by mouth. I think.
Very good. So first of all, when we talk about thinking in English, that means thinking in words. इंग्लिश में सोचने का मतलब नहीं कि एकदम बड़े बड़े सेंटेंस हमारे दिमाग में आ जाएंगे, पहले हमें वर्ड्स चाहिए. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी नीड टू नो द वर्ड्स इन इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज. द वर्ड्स शुड बी कमिंग इन अवर माइंड. कुछ भी सोचना है, एनीथिंग वी वांट टू थिंक, so for thinking in that language we need to instantly be getting words in our mind. उस भाषा से रिलेटेड वर्ड्स हमारे माइंड में आने चाहिए. जो भी हम सोच रहे हैं, एनीथिंग वी आर थिंकिंग इन एनी लैंग्वेज, instantly we should be getting words in our mind in that language. And it requires for English also. For example, if we want to speak English, so we must be making sure that any situation we are thinking in our mind, so we should be getting enough words in our mind to be thinking in that particular language. This is the first step of thinking in words. Once we gain a lot of words in our mind while thinking, second step can be using those words in our sentences. How to use the words in sentences? There is a course called 8 parts of speech, grammar, sense, and all. Grammar topics are very important and helpful for that. How the group of words can be used in a sentence correctly so that it make a sense. That's why a group of words which make a complete sense is called a sentence. Not only group of words which doesn't have the sense at all will be called a sentence. No. So we must be making sure that second step of speaking language, that we do have the ability of making sentences which makes a sense. And another thing of thinking in English can be taking place, that is called having ability to be knowing the meaning of English words in English. Once we know the meaning of any English words in English, that's going to be help us thinking in English instantly. Any word we know in English, but if we know the meaning also in English, that means our English thinking is already taking place in our mind. We don't think in English. The reason is that we don't learn English as from English. We don't learn English from English. We learn English from Hindi, or we learn English through Hindi. We can say like this, maybe whatever language you speak. So once we learn English from English and learning meanings also in English, what happens? We keep on thinking in English also. Now I give you some words, Chirag. You have to tell their meanings in English. If you are able to tell the meanings in English, that means the thinking is taking place in your mind. For example, table, table. So, what do you think in English? There is a one,
Table.
yeah, there is a one word in English, table. You have to think in your mind about that table in English. So, how will you think?
Sir, four legs and have a
Yeah, please go on.
sir, four legs and a piece of wood.
Yeah, can you say again?
Sir, four legs and the piece of wood.
Four legs and
Four legs and above the piece of wood in
piece
a
of above the piece
rectangular shape.
above the piece of wood and below four legs.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah. So another meaning can be the furniture, or as you mentioned, something like that. And another meaning can be a tool which can be used for various places, something like that. Yes, absolutely. Another meaning I give you to be thinking in your mind, that is called mm, mother. Mother. If you say the mother, what are you going to be thinking in English?
Sir, my father's wife.
My father's wife also. But that what when you are a child, small, so you may not know that my father's wife. So what can be the another meaning of mother in English?
The person who birthed me,
Not who birthed me, the person who gave me birth.
who gave me birth.
What can be another meaning? All right, I tell you. Another meaning will be female parent. We have a English word that is called parents. My parents came here. Parents. So mother and father are called as a parents. If we have to talk about the one person, we say mother or we say father. But if we have to say the English meaning, we will say female parent. That is the absolutely the meaning of my father's wife or my mom, who is the female already. The sentence, the word mom is referring, and father, male parent. But we don't speak it. It looks little odd. Yeah, someone's male parent came here. Male parent came here. We prefer to speak father. So, but whatever it may be, we didn't allow our mind to think in our own language. We found another word for these English words in order to know its meaning. And second thing is in order to think about that word in English. Yeah. Next is called yeah, this is what after that is called next some important concepts: fluency versus accuracy. Go on, what do you mean by it?
So fluency versus accuracy. Fluency means you speak a very good English with the flow in a natural way, and while you're speaking, you do a lot of mistakes, bad grammar mistakes. So people do not like this type of English. They just irritate to listen this type of English. And accuracy means if you speak a very accurate language without any grammar mistake, but while speaking you take some time, some pause. So people also do not like this type of English, so you need to maintain the balance between both fluency and accuracy. If you are able to maintain the balance, if you speak very good English in a flow and also a correct English without any grammatic mistake, then you can say you are good in the fluency versus accuracy. You can speak with the flow and with accurate English without any grammatic mistake. So both are important.
Okay, so fluency versus accuracy means making sure that we are fluent in English. At the same time, we are maintaining the accuracy also. And fluency doesn't mean that speaking very fast English, someone to show how fast we can speak with lot of mistakes. That kind of English doesn't make a sense for people. And accuracy also doesn't mean that let language be accurate and then we are very slow and that marks the standard of English language. So making sure that we do maintain the fluency versus accuracy in our speaking. Intelligibility is the aim of any communication, as you know that making sure that people understand us what we are speaking to them, and if there is a petty mistake that doesn't make any problem but meaning should not be suffered, it has to be conveyed, which is also the important part. Intelligibility, the aim of any communication, means what I speak people should understand. Little bit mistake sometimes doesn't matter. But it doesn't mean that it allows us, it gives us permission of making mistakes. Like some students I ask, okay, what does it mean? It means we can speak English with mistakes. No, we can't. But unfortunately if it happens, then it doesn't make a sense, but it doesn't permits us to be speaking always English by having small mistake and thinking that it doesn't make any problem. That we need to be always making sure that we don't do such kind of things while communicating to someone. We always make sure that there must not be any mistakes. But if by chance it happens, our tongue, okay, it twists and it slips somewhere, so that can be understood. There is nothing to be much worried about that, but only one thing is that meaning has to be conveyed to the people, and then that should not be suffering. Next we talk about the basic components of English language, which is very important because these things are very very important. The basic components of English language means, first of all, word power. Word power is your actual strength in speaking English, understanding English as well. That means if you have lot of words in your mind in English language, so in English, so easily you can speak and you can understand, you can have the confidence of speaking and understanding that particular language. I think Chirag may tell now what does it mean, the basic components of English language. Go on.
The basic components of English language. Number one is word power. Word power is our actual strength in English. If we have a strong word power vocabulary, then we can easily speak English, we can write English. There are two methods of learning English: grammar, translation method, and direct structure method. So firstly is grammar translation method. This is the one of the traditional method of learning and teaching English. This method gives more importance to learning the rule of the grammar, and English is taught by using the local language. This method today is found be less effective, but this method is very effective for new beginners who want to learn English and who is new in English. So this is the grammar structure method, and number two is the direct method. In this method, we use only English to English conversation. the our coach ask us question on English and we give answer in English. This method is very effective for learning English because the whole conversation is going on English to English language. And to practicing the sentence pattern, the sentence structure, so we can easily learn English. And the direct structure method is more better than the grammar structure method.
Yes. So when we talk about the methods of learning English language, so first of all, this is called the grammar translation method of learning English language. Second one is called direct structured method of learning language. So grammar translation method is effective for the beginners, those who want to learn English. So we must be making sure that first of all, as I said, you grammar translation method. This is effective for the beginners, but later on we should not be depending on this. We should be following the direct structured method of learning English, which is called English to English, asking questions in English, answering questions in English, which is very effective. So first of all, I think I'm going to be asking you the grammar translation method of learning language. You can unmute your mic also, because we have seen that in our country lot of YouTubers are getting and becoming very famous also because of making and teaching English in grammar translation method, which is very effective for them. If someone teaching English in English, very few people are paying attention. What can be the reason behind this, Chirag?
Yes, I think, sir, that you, as you say, these people firstly write the sentence in Hindi, then they convert to English. So this method is not so good. And those people like this type of pattern of teaching because they are also not able to understand English to English. They want to firstly they know the meaning of their Hindi and then they understand into English. So this method is not so good, but yes, this is good for the new beginners, but it is not all good. So track structure method is very good. The if we do conversation into English to English, then we
Fine,
can
fine. But I have a question. My question is that in our country, if anyone is teaching English language in English, so teaching English in English, having YouTube channel in English language, so that very few people watch those kind of videos where a teacher is teaching English language in English, explaining English in English also. But there are other YouTubers and other teachers, those who are teaching English in Hindi in their own local languages. They have more followers and then more students, more audience in their channel. What can be the reason?
so I think they are much comfortable to in Hindi. Firstly, they will understand Hindi and then they go to English. So those YouTube channel who taught into English to English, they do not watch their videos and they do not like their content because they are not so understandable to don't understand their language. So if any person taught the Hindi to English, and firstly they teach in Hindi, they write a sentence in the blackboard into Hindi, and then they convert into English. So then the viewer think that it is very good method, and we all know English by this method. Firstly, we learn in Hindi, and then we convert into English. So it is not good method.
I think it simply means those who already know English, so only they can watch language. So the YouTubers also know these things. That's why they have made this profession of teaching English in their own local languages. English to Odia, English to Hindi, English to Punjabi. So a lot of that kind of audience are following them. So it simply means people those who already know English may not pay much attention. If they pay also attention, they may seek for the advanced level. But for basic level, they may not waste their time by watching the videos. This is what I think I'm getting some assurance about this. Yeah, in the another hand, that the lot of people, those who want to learn English, but their weakness is that they can't understand English in English. So they have to be depend on their own local language, Hindi, Punjabi, it may be. That's why they prefer watching most of the videos which are in their own local languages about English language, and they watch it. And the English teachers, those who are teaching, they also realize the power of speaking their mother tongue. Now you may tell what you think about this, Chirag.
I think one more thing, as their title of video is like 2 minutes, 2 minute में English सीखे, and people attract those titles video, and that's the reason. One reason they got so many views in millions. The other people think they learned English in a few hours, or 1 day, 2 day. Their title is these types of learn English in 2 days, learn English in 5 hours. This type of title they put on their video.
Absolutely. So that is also right. But the reality is that it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen learning English in 2 minutes. But yes, it helps them to attract their audience, and it helps them to gain more people's knowledge, and then people's knowledge gaining and getting paying their attention. So it is one kind of eye catchy title for them, eye catchy thumbnail for them. Okay, leave it. We will follow the both methods. First of all, let us follow the grammar translation method, and we will see after following the grammar translation method here what will be the response. Now only the one person is in live. Earlier there were 5 to 6 people. They disappeared. Maybe we are continuously talking in English, or maybe people are busy somewhere here and there. Let us talk about now grammar translation method of learning English. So keep on responding me immediately. मैंने आपको पिछले कल कॉल नहीं की, सो आपको ऐसा क्यों लगा कि मैंने आपको कॉल की?
I didn't call you yesterday, and why you think I called you yesterday?
No, I call you yesterday is not making the sense now. I call you yesterday. ये वही बात हो गई, I go yesterday. I go, I call वर्ब की फर्स्ट फॉर्म हो गई, तो वही बात हो
So I
गई.
said I didn't. I didn't.
I didn't or I called. Simple past. I did not call you yesterday, so why do you think that I called you yesterday? Why do you think that I called you yesterday? Next, little fast practice. मैं जा रहा हूँ,
I am going.
मैं जा रहा था,
I was going.
मैं जा चुका हूँ.
I has gone.
Have.
I have gone.
Hmm. So क्या मैं गया?
Did I go?
क्या उसने देखा?
Did he see?
हम कब जाएंगे?
When will we go?
When will we go? क्या आप उसे जानते हो?
Do you know him?
क्या मुझे इंग्लिश सीखनी चाहिए?
Do I learn English?
क्या मुझे इंग्लिश सीखनी चाहिए? Should. Should I need to learn
Should,
English?
should I learn
Should I need to learn
English?
English? मैं जा रहा था,
I was going.
हम आ रहे थे.
We we were coming.
आप सो रहे थे.
You were sleeping.
राजेश ने मुझे पिछले कल कॉल नहीं किया.
Rajesh didn't call me yesterday.
आप क्या जानते हैं इसके बारे में?
What do you know about that?
मैं आपको जानता हूँ.
I know you.
हम पिकनिक पर नहीं जाएंगे.
We will not go to the picnic.
क्या आपको इसके बारे में पता है?
Do you know about that?
आज मैं सुबह 5:30 बजे उठा.
Today I got up at 5:30 a.m.
मैं आजकल इंग्लिश सीख रहा हूँ.
Today's I learned English.
These days.
These days I learned English.
सीख रहा हूँ. आई लर्न कहाँ से आ गया? सीख रहा हूँ. सीख रहा हूँ मीन्स आई एम लर्निंग. ing. These days I am learning
English.
English. Absolutely. Very good. Next is called. Next, you make any 12 sentences. I give you a sentence. So, I मैं इस कंपनी में काम कर रहा हूँ.
I am working in this company. Am I working in this company?
Hmm.
Am I not working in this company?
Hmm.
Why am I working in this company? Why am I not working in this company?
Hmm. आपको जाना चाहिए.
You should go.
आपको जाने की जरूरत है.
You should need to go.
Hmm. This should you have to follow some other structures also. People will bring the bananas and all. Some other things also. The use of should very important. क्या हम पिछले कल मार्केट में नहीं थे? क्या हम पिछले कल मार्केट में नहीं थे?
Were we not in market yesterday?
वर बी नॉट इन मार्केट इसके yesterday. आपको इसे समझने की जरूरत है.
You need to understand them.
Yes, appreciate you. So you need to understand it. Second one is called a direct structure method of learning English. This was the translation method. Second one is called direct structure method of learning English. Asking questions in English, answering questions in English. Hi, what's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Chirag. I am from Himachal Pradesh.
How old are you? What you do? Are you student or do you work?
I am 18 years old and I am a student. I am pursuing my graduation.
Okay, what's your major?
My major is history
Okay, why did you choose this subject history as the major?
because one reason is I already learned history at my school and I learned to read history.
Hmm. And another reason?
Another reason is in future I want to give I want to give some exam, then it is the history has a play a major role.
Hmm. When do you get up early in the morning?
I get up at 4 a.m.
How far is bus stop from your home?
At least 5 minutes.
All right. How do you go to college?
I go to college by bus.
Did you do your yesterday's homework?
Yes, I do my yesterday homeworks.
Did.
I did my yesterday homework.
Okay. How is your English learning activities taking place?
It is good. I learned. Now these days I learn a part of speech, and I also learn. I also learn 24 auxiliary verbs, WH questions, and four skills, four things, methods, components to learn English, and many discussion is going on in the class and the online also.
Now, why do we need to study 8 parts of speech?
We need to study eight part of speech because it is very important. Uh, Number one thing is to reading eight part of speech. We know about the vocabularies, the words, the naming words, the vocabulary which we use while speaking and writing. And another reason is to when to we learn those words vocabulary, we need to use the correct words in a correct situation. So that's why we need to learn about a part of speech, and it is also very important and compulsory if you want to speak English, write English. A part of speech plays a huge role if you want to speak English. Many people says the grammar is not important. A part of speech is not important to speak and write English. But if you don't study the part of speech, then you are not able to speak and write the English correctly.
5 reasons why do we need to study now? 5 to 6 reasons. Giving the proper information to our viewers and subscribers, they do understand why do we need to study now.
Okay, so noun is the first part of eight parts of speech. Noun is a word which used as a name of person, place, thing, action, quality, state. So um, there are so many words, naming words, which categorize into five kinds. Number one, proper noun. Number two, common noun. Number three, collective noun. Number four, material noun. Number five, abstract nouns. So we need to learn these all noun topics because there are so many naming words which we don't know. And if we know these naming words, it helps us to speaking English, to write English, and to understand English. So nouns are very important topic. And number two is the making the singular to plural. There are 11 rules to making singular to plural. Like rule number one, example, those word which end with the consonant, to make them plural we use s. Example, arms, Hindus, and these are 11 rules in our nouns which to make singular to plural. So we should read all these singular to plural rules, then we can easily change the singular to plural. It helps us also in our speaking, our listening, and our writing. And another reason is the noun gender. We need to study about. There is also some rules too about the noun gender. There are now gender is very important because some students who do not read about study about the now gender, they find difficulties to identify and to change their gender. Like example, the which ox is a cow and actor is the actress, then many children confused how this can happen. You can change ox into cow and actor into actress, you only change double s in the actress. So for this, we need to learn about the many rules about learning gender to noun and also to singular to plural. And the noun topic is very large, very big. And in Hindi, we need not too much focus on that topic, but English, it is a huge role. If we learn all naming words, all rules of to making singular to plural, and noun gender, then we can easily speak English. And we find some naming words from different fields like education, sports, society, and religious. If we find these type of words, naming words from different fields, then we can easily speak English and write English very effectively.
Absolutely. Next is called pronoun. Why do we need to study pronoun? Go on.
So pronoun are those words which are used in place of noun. Um, there are different kinds of pronoun. Number one is personal pronoun. In personal pronoun, we have, first row we have I, we, you, he, she, it, they. They are called the subjective pronouns. And row number two is me, me. Rule number two is me, us, you, him, her, it, there, it, them. So role number two is called the objective pronoun. They are used as objective in the sentence. And the role number three is my, our, your, his, him, his, her, its, and their. Their row number three is used always with the noun. And row number four is mine, ours, yours, its, hers. They are hers and theirs, and they always use with alone without noun. And row number five is myself, ourself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, themselves. They have two different many ways. And second is the interrogative pronoun. Interrogative pronoun we have when, where, how, who, whose. And next is the relative pronoun. It means to join the two sentence when, what, where, how, who, whom. And the third is the compound relative pronoun. What in compound relative pronoun we have whatever, whenever, however, whoever, wherever, whosoever. And the next is the demonstrative pronoun. Demonstrative pronoun means to demonstrative pronoun means to show something by giving an example like this, that, these, those. This is used for near, present, and singular. That is used for far, past, and singular. And that these is used for near, present, plural. Those is used for far, past, and plural. And next is the reflexive reflexive pronoun. Reflexive pronoun we it reflects on back on the pronoun. Like example, I myself, uh, I I do this work by myself. You can go home by yourself. And third is the emphatic pronoun. It means effective emphatic pronoun is a pronoun such as myself, yourself, himself. Like example, I myself do this work. You yourself go to him. And next is the reciprocal pronoun involving two or more people or group um, to having the same discussion. And like example of the reciprocal pronoun is reciprocal pronoun. Example of the reciprocal pronoun is uh, he Radha and Shyam work each other, has worked each other, and girls helped one another. So each other and one another are the word which comes in the reciprocal pronoun, and they are honest and open with each other. Each other is mostly used with the two-person, and one another is used more than two-person. So these are some kinds of pronoun.
How about adjective?
Adjective. So, mm, adjective is a word which adds something to the meaning of noun and pronoun. Adjective is usually put before the noun it describes, and but sometimes it is also used to separate from the noun, and put to before after the verbs like is, am, are, was, were, and seem, appear. So there are eight kinds of adjectives. Number one, adjective of quality. So in adjective of quality, they indicates shape, size, color, taste, condition, behavior, and feeling, and question the answer of what kind. Like example, bad, high. These are some example of the adjective of quality. And number two is the adjective of quantity. So in adjective of quality, there are such kinds of mm, such kind of words who tell us the quantity, who tell us the quantity of,
Which tell? Who for person?
which tell us the quantity of noun, pronoun, and adjectives. Like example, some, how, some, more, few, enough, sufficient, any, few,
Absolutely.
no.
Absolutely. Now, one thing I realized, time goes very fast in online comparing than offline. So our 2 hours are going to finish. Only 7 minutes are left there. So now I want you to give your feedback in details for new learners, viewers, subscribers, learning English in Divya English Academy from the beginning in details. 2 months experience.
Okay, so I have been completed 2 months here, the English Speaking Academy. So I learned a lot of things. Firstly, start with the four things to remember, four skills, components, and the method of learning English. Then the WH questions. Step by step, we do all things. And next is 24 auxiliary verbs. While when reading 24 auxiliary verbs, I knew many things, and it also helped me to read and to understand the English, and it also helped me to speak English. It includes it helps me to I use the 24 auxiliary verbs with the WH questions with helping verbs, and um, and we do many discussion in class and in topics, and we all the conversation is going on to English. The atmosphere in class is very good. I also think that I learned English by listening. When uh, when sir taught me, then I listened carefully, then I uh, then I learned English from listening. So listening is also helped me to learn. Uh, yes, and when I joined this academy, or I'm not so confident, and I think how I can speak English, because I stuck in some places while speaking English, and I don't have much flow, much confidence. But to keep doing regularly practice in the academy, half an hour, then I find that I gain confidence, and it will also increase my flow. So these are my some and
Yeah, how did you get confident in speaking English, and how is the teaching of Divya English Academy teaching English language, and how students can learn and they also can get confident? What do you think about that?
Okay, firstly, the methods of the teaching of the English Divya English Speaking Academy is very good, and they understand the whole topic. Example, when they start the noun topic, they describe the whole detailed topic, the detail by detail, and then the student understand very perfectly, and they not forget in their whole life, I think. And how I gain my confidence now. The thing is, I regularly keep practicing on academy. This is firstly half an hour. Sir asking me some question, and we do conversation in English to English. And at evening time, sir also send me link. Then we join our online class. Then we also do some discussion with foreigner teachers, with another state students. It can also increase my confidence, and yes, and learning the vocabulary. Sal also told me to learning vocabulary, and the sentence pattern, how the sentence make it also it also boost my confidence.
Absolutely. Jagdish is there in the online, in the channel, YouTube channel. Okay, what is your suggestions finally for the new learners? Those who want to learn English, what you want to give them suggestion? How can they learn, and what will be the right method, and then what they should do, what they should not do in order to learn English language, so that they don't get cheated, whether they also learn language in proper way. Apart from that, any suggestions do you want to give for the new learners?
Okay, so I want to say that English learning is a very long process because English is now not our native language. We are not habitual to speak English, so it takes some time. So keep patient. Do not be discouraged and fear if you not learn English in a few days. And it takes some time. So keep working on hard and be consistent and keep regularly doing practicing to speak English and learn the vocabulary words and yes, it can help you a lot to learn because it is a long process. It takes some time. I also took 2 months to speak very fluently, and now I am also working on. So it takes some time. Don't be discouraged if you're not able to speak in just few days. Keep working hard and keep was just your one thing. Keep practicing or speaking English. Speak whatever you speak. Don't